How are you today?
Good, thanks. Such a nice day.
It is. Yeah, so it is 9 a.m. now, and probably according to your schedule, you've already ticked off like half of the daily things.
We actually had a podcast interview this morning at 7 a.m. because a lot of our guests are overseas, so we have to get up at crazy hours. Yeah, so we'll often do like F45 or go up and down or something. And do you surf sometimes in the morning?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then we'll try and have breakfast and kind of start work by about 9.
So what's your work particularly about? I know it's quite diverse these days, but what do you do?
What do we do? I suppose we have, the best thing we did for Instagram was split up our roles a little bit, or roles, sorry. So I'm more kind of the tech side of things and putting together systems and so on, and then Tash makes everything look nice. She's definitely creating the thing. She's totally in charge of the podcast, whereas I do more of like content and funnels and so on.
Yeah, so everything Instagram basically, but slightly different roles within the company.
Oh, cool. And how about your consulting stuff? Like, do you do workshops? Did you do something recently?
Yeah, so we do workshops every now and then, but we mostly now have online courses and online workshops. And yeah, so we sell online courses and we do consulting with companies, and we're actually launching a new thing. Are we allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, so we're launching, it's really exciting. What we realise is that we actually have this massive group of our audience that we're not really serving at the moment. So a lot of people, they might not need to buy a whole online course, they might just need a couple of questions. Maybe they're investing a lot of money into a giveaway or an influencer campaign. They might need another set of eyes to look over what they're doing. That, or they're really budget conscious, so they just want to be able to get someone to have a look just briefly, let them know where they're at. So that's going to be a new $37 a month subscription offering that we're bringing forward, and it's just about smashing Instagram on a budget, really. So that was going to be really exciting. Start of October, I think we'll bring it out.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited for that.
It's the fact that you lived abroad, that you're being an influencer yourself, affects the way you do your business and allows you to stay like on trend. Where do you get these ideas from?
Yeah, 100%. I think the way that we look at business and life aren't necessarily separate. It's kind of just one thing, really. So figure out where you want your life to head, and in doing so, how is your business going to help you get there?
Yeah, and we're really lucky with our global network. So we have people in different countries who are doing a similar thing to us. So we kind of like group think it to then get whatever's working in each place, and then check in with each other and then bring that to our clients, so that we always are staying, I guess, ahead of the game and get ahead of the algorithms.
Yeah. And it's all based on how people are using, like, people's behaviours, right? So like online courses we'd way rather do an online course, because like Tash says, it means we can reach people at a much larger scale than it would be to just always be taking classes or something, and it just allows us to help far more people than, say, a traditional sense of like workshops all the time.
Yeah, that's true. And I remember, Tash, you once mentioned that when you lived in LA, it was all about collaboration, meeting other influencers and working together, whereas it lacks here yet, maybe. Is there something you really wish we had here in New Zealand and you missed from your experience being abroad?
I think it is growing here. Like, I definitely did notice in America, everyone's so like figures out what you need and what you want, and then they'll kind of like introduce you to the people that they know to help that, and it's just such a top of mind thing of like that's what they immediately jump to. Whereas here, I think it's less so like that. It's more like you kind of get to know people, and it's just what you see is what you get. Like, they don't necessarily try to help you reach your goals in your first meeting that you have with them, which it's actually a nice balance. But there are great things like different Facebook groups coming out in New Zealand, like there's some business events and things like that that are really building. Maybe just people getting less tall poppy syndrome in New Zealand, and just like being more confident with just like saying what their goals are.
Thinking bigger. Not being afraid to say what you're thinking or what your goals are.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people hold back, and it probably does come from a place of that tall poppy syndrome, being a little bit afraid to share what you'd actually like to achieve and how you'd actually like to affect people. Yeah.
Yes. And another thing that I have noticed myself is that some people are still thinking that, like our generation, we are only glued to our phones and we are living online instead of having a real life. Like, how often have you been misjudged in your life by being on Instagram all the time? Do people think it's not a real work, and you probably have rich parents that you can allow this lifestyle? Did something like that happen to you?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a misconception, and just the misconception of how easy it is to just post a photo, but it's so different when you're like how you post that photo. It's like how you got that content in the first place, all the skills that you've accumulated to then create that photo, like all of the different components that go into it, and then all the components that go into, I guess, leading your own life and business. I think the thing with influencers is often it's like, you know, there's misconceptions about them, but in reality, like a lot of them have created their own life and their own business from nothing, and they've got to have a global portfolio of their skills and whatever they are, and they've built that from scratch, and they're learning invoicing, they're learning business, they're learning so many things, and that's often just like pushed aside because it's like under the social media umbrella. So I guess that is a bit of a misconception, eh?
Yeah, and I think in terms of like the work that we do, it's like anyone else that works from home, right? It's assumed that you just have all this free time, when really it normally means that free time is spent doing the washing.
Yeah, I actually think the biggest misconception about our work is because we put a lot of it as front end. People think that it's only the front end stuff, so most of what we do is every day glued to a laptop doing all the back end, but people don't see that side of it.
Yes, and by the way, talking about working from home, do you think that at some stage you might get like a big crew and you'll need an office maybe somewhere in New York, and even like, is the location important for your business?
I think the location is really important when you do work from home, that you have somewhere that's like light and bright and inspirational, and that actually inspires you to work. Like if I had to work in a cave, like just, you know, in somewhere that didn't inspire me, then I would actually find that really hard for productivity. But
yeah, I think with the girl that we do have contracting us for a little bit at the moment, it's actually quite cool to be able to give other people the opportunity to work from home and work remotely. So I'm sure you can relate that there's just nothing better sometimes if you can do it. It doesn't suit everybody, but if you find the right people and you can actually give them that opportunity, that's quite exciting.
Yeah, and also we want to get somewhere that we can then have like a podcast studio, and then have people come in and have it more like a setup so people can come and work with us, because I think we realise the benefit of working with each other. Like if we're working remotely and we're not working, if we're not in the same room, then we're far less productive than we are when there's someone else sitting there also working.
And with Tauranga being the fastest growing city in New Zealand at the moment, do you think it's the right place for you to be, or did you ever have an idea of maybe moving to Auckland or to Wellington to grow your business?
I'm never moving. No, the greatest thing about Tauranga is that it's so accessible, you know, like we'll do the odd day trips, but here is just so nice. We've met so many like-minded people. You can still think big if you're around certain people, and also, Auckland is close enough, but there's no reason to move there.
When I moved back from the States, we were actually going to move to Bali, and then because we were like, we don't want to think too small being in New Zealand, and then staying here and creating like a network here and putting out what we're doing, we've met the most incredible community in Tauranga of like super motivated, just thinking huge, like doing incredible things. So it's actually a thriving business community now.
It's just like anything, you just have to surround yourself with the right people and you'll be fine.
That's so true, and I think you two found each other, and I can't imagine like yourself being separate from each other. Like
we were just talking about this morning.
We've actually got weaker in the things that we're weak at, because we balance each other out in the business so much that like the things that I used to kind of be savvy with, I'm like, but we'll do that. So now I've just got a lack of
I don't
skill
actually, to be honest, I had to edit a photo for Instagram the other day, and I thought, oh my god, I actually haven't done this in so long. I didn't really know how to do it properly. I just sent it to Tash in the end. I was like, help.
Yeah. And is there any moment during the day when you are not together? Do you like have hobbies that you don't share, or maybe like do you
definitely. And we hardly talk to each other during the day. It's real silent.
Yeah, because we're just working, and we're also really different. Like we're similar in some aspects, but like
we still
live totally different lives. Yeah, have our own friends, have our own.
Oh, that's really unexpected because I always see you together.
I know. Yeah.
How did you meet, by the way? Can we go a little bit back in the history?
We were both studying food science, funnily enough, at uni, and we're actually both from Tauranga, but didn't meet till third year of uni down in Dunedin at Otago Uni, and we got put on the same group project. So lucky for us, there were 4 in the group project, and we found that we actually worked really well together, and we were sort of on the same wavelength. So in a way, we were like work friends before we became actual friends, if that makes sense, which is probably been one of the biggest advantages, knowing that you can actually work well with someone.
I think that's there are a lot of friends that you have and you're like, they're great friends but you'd never work with them, but knowing from the get-go that was how we operated best was cool.
And Instagram, whose idea was it did it in the first place, and when did it come into your mind, like to launch this your own business?
I think the funny thing about our business is that it's been so organic, like it's so just like, we've just, I don't know, pivoted slowly every little, like made tiny tweaks and then just like made decisions, small decisions that turned out to sort of become what it is today, because we were both working on our own projects at uni to do with Instagram, and then we started to accumulate our own clients of just people approaching us being like, how to use Instagram for marketing, or like how do you run an influencer profile, and then we were just, I guess, just chatting all the time of like, I'm doing this for this client, like how's that working for you, and yeah, we discussed a few business ideas before I went to America that were just a
We
joke.
don't talk about them anymore.
Just so embarrassing.
No.
So then, and it was actually in the States, so I think we both came to the idea together to just be like, let's go all in, let's make this a thing, like there's such a need for it, so yeah.
You used to have a full-time job, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
before
so
that,
with my food science degree, all I wanted to do was come back and live at home, not pay any rent, and work in the food industry. So, because factories kind of excite me as weird as it is. So I worked in the deer industry, so with deer co-products. So I'm not sure if you've ever heard of deer velvet and so on, but it was all based around Chinese medicine and stuff. It was quite cool, very alternative
It was
and
called
very
the
different.
assurance manager.
Yeah, very different from Instagram, but quite an exciting industry. Yeah, very cool.
So, and how long ago did the transition from the full-time job?
I only worked there for a year, so it's been like a year and a half of not working full time for someone else. Yeah.
And you really make it look so easy, like to start working full time, to launch your business, to succeed in that. Do you think that like there will be a million people following your footsteps who have like 10K on Instagram, and they will suddenly decide they can now consult other businesses? And do you feel that you're growing your own competitors at the moment?
We are really passionate about helping people create their own life, and there's just room for everyone. Yeah, and I think the more, like the better that our audience does and the better that they do, like that's better for us, because it's like, well done, we helped you create that, so yeah.
You'll always be the first after all.
Yeah, I suppose the places we were at in our lives it was quite low risk, so like Tash mentioned, we'd taken on clients well, we were still working full time, so financially we weren't like, it wasn't really putting all your eggs in one basket. Like I was living with mum and dad, so it was all good. Just paying no rent, had clients on the side, and then literally just built up enough clients till I couldn't take any more annual leave to take meetings during the middle of the day, and it just made sense to branch out.
Yeah, and actually think about your question, like growing other people so that then they can consult. That's actually the goal, because we want to do courses for like every company in the future is going to need to have the social like team, and they at the moment people are just not upskilled enough in Instagram in that industry, so we want to do like courses and things for them so that they can just do the course and stay on the cutting edge of Instagram and then be able to do their job as well. So yeah, we're definitely keen to launch that kind of thing for them when they grow as well.
Very interesting, and I'm thinking at the moment with this beautiful morning, like in summer is fast approaching. What are your plans? Are you going somewhere abroad? Any trips planned?
At the moment we're on a bit of a hustle train, so
Yeah, no trips planned.
so yeah, we're staying about for a bit. Just been just like for little Aussie trips and things. But I
Summer's
think,
coming, that's good enough.
yeah, I think next year we have some quite big travel plans, like if all the hustle until Christmas goes according to plan. So yeah.
Oh, well, that's really good. And thanks a lot for this beautiful interview, and I wish you good luck with all your plans.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.